Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the web developer career path, specifically the front end. And as you guys can see in here in this graphic that I have here on the screen, I actually found out this graphic in the GitHub of this guy, so I just wanted to give a shout out to him. I don't want to try to steal this content or anything. So this graphic belongs to this guy Cam Rana Metze. I don't know if I'm spelling it right, but he has a really nice graphic in here explaining like all the steps that you can take like for a front-end web developer, all the choices that you have, you know, because not all web developers, they will work with the same frameworks or with whatever, you know, or using task runner. So I'm just going to give a little bit of explaining what's the steps that you can go through and what kind of technologies you can use. So basically, so this is like the beginning of the front end, and it says in here to begin you should learn the basics, as everyone knows, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So basically, using this, learning this little bit of concepts, you know, you will get started. You will know the basics, and yeah, it's not just the basics, but if you get comfortable with this, you almost don't need nothing of what's in here, of all the rest, you know, because all the rest of the things that we are going to cover in here, they are basically just the tools to make your life easier, you know, because everything that we have in here, all these Reacts, all these bootstraps and the SAS and whatever, you can do all of these with your basic CSS and JavaScript. But these tools, they are made to make your workflow just better and faster. So, all right, let's continue with this. So, after you learn the basics, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, we have this section in here that says getting deeper. So we can go through this path for CSS. So basically, once you learn CSS, you can learn how to do a responsive web design. So this is really important. I actually covered some tutorial videos on media queries, so if you guys want to check it out. So once you learn CSS, you should learn how to make a responsive website. This is really important. Also, you can choose, if you want to, you can choose a framework. There are some popular frameworks like Bootstrap, Foundation. I think Bootstrap is the most popular. Materialize CSS, Semantic UI. So basically, what this kind of frameworks they will do is, let's take for example Bootstrap. Bootstrap, they have some kind of classes. Once you install Bootstrap on your local environment or on your website or whatever, once it's installed, if you use, for example, a class, I don't remember now exactly from my mind, but if you use a class of button large or something on an element, you will display automatically like a button, a big button, for example, blue or whatever, and you are just adding basically a class, button large. You know, like I said, I'm just saying this by my mind because I don't remember exactly what's the classes that they are using on Bootstrap. But you just put this class, and it comes already with color, with size, with this and that, you know. So basically, instead of you are putting all the small values in there, you just put the class, and everything is predefined by Bootstrap. That's something that if you want to start a website very fast and you say, okay, I can use all this code that is already built on Bootstrap and make something very fast, so I don't have to be putting all the values in there. So that's why it's good sometimes to use a framework to speed up your work. So you can choose a framework. like I said, most popular is Bootstrap. There is also Foundation, I think is very popular. I don't know these two very well, Materialize CSS and Semantic UI. And you also can go for a route of preprocessors like Sass and Less, Stylus, PostCSS. Most popular, I think, is Sass and Less. I actually use Sass, and it's really amazing. So it's called a preprocessor because the way that you are writing it, your browser can't read it straight away. So it needs like a kind of a preprocessor software or something to compile what you write. So I'm actually going to do a tutorial on Sass, guys. For all of you out there, because before I was using just like regular CSS, and I was like, why do I need to use Sass or anything? I can use simple CSS, and it's true, you can use simple CSS, but if you use Sass, it makes your workflow so much faster and better. So I'm actually going to do a tutorial on that. Right, so just moving on, you can choose this for CSS. Let's go now in here into JavaScript. So if you go in here into JavaScript, you can go into ES6. So basically is the latest JavaScript that you have all these updates. Yeah, like these things that we are using now, let instead of var, and we have some updates on objects. Yeah, so in these, after these, you can go for TypeScript flow. I'm not really sure what's this about. I need to research a little bit. We have testing to make sure your code is working well with Jest, Mocha. I think I work a little bit with this Jasmine in the Udacity Nano degree when I was doing this. This is just like a kind of a testing software that you can use to make sure that your code is working fine without any bugs or error. And then you have some task runners like npm scripts, gulp, grunt. For sure that if you have been applying for some jobs, or if you have seen some job advertisements, you have seen that some of them, they require this kind of thing. So what's these task runners? These task runners like gulp and grunt, what they basically do is, imagine that you are building your website using a task runner like gulp or grunt, that they are the most popular ones. They do minify your CSS files. They minify your CSS files. They minify your JavaScript files. So basically, when I say minify, they compress the files. They get rid of all the white spaces in there that basically your browser doesn't need it. They also compress and reduce the size of images. So this is really, really amazing in that. And they also reload your page all the time. So whenever you are writing down some code on your code editor, let's say you are using Atom, Sublime, Visual Studio, whatever, sometimes you need to click a button to go to your browser and reload the page all the time since you are writing down. And with task runners, they just keep your browser page where you are checking whatever you are building. It just like loads the page all the time, so you don't need to reload it by yourself. So yeah, this is something really great. And then we have some package managers. So package managers, basically they just go on the internet and just download some packages to your website, whatever you are using. Let's say, for example, I was building recently e-commerce website, and I needed to install Stripe. You can do payments. You can do payments with Stripe, with PayPal, and something. And basically, these kind of package managers, like these two, are very popular, Yarn and npm. They basically just like fetch from the internet some packages already built in, like for example these Stripe, PayPal. There is much more. There's much more, and they can just like install it directly on your website, so you don't have to worry about getting files from here and there. And yeah, this is basically how it works. Is npm this package manager? If you are going into the backend using Node and something, you use this all the time. So yeah. All right. So and then we have in here choose a framework. So frameworks, like you guys know, these are very popular. Angular, React, Vue.js is getting very popular at the moment. And then we have this Preact. I don't know, I never saw it. And Ember.js. I think this one is a bit older, but yeah. So all of you guys that you want to say, oh, tell me, I need to know Angular or React or something to get a job. If just take this in consideration, if you know JavaScript well, vanilla JavaScript, you don't actually need to know all of these. This is just a way to make your workflow faster and easier. So if you for example know Angular, you don't need to know React, because they all almost do the same thing. They are not exactly the same thing, but they all the final end, they almost do the same thing. So if you are going to learn one of them, just go for either Angular, React, or Vue.js. Don't try to learn them all of them. Just try to go for one of them. Just try to see, for example, if in your local area where you want to apply for jobs or something, what's more popular. For example, here where I'm living in Manchester in UK, React is much more popular. So if I would want to go for a job now, I would learn React, and that's it. And then inside of React, you have like these small ones, Flux, Redux, and something, and yeah. All right, so and then you also have some module loaders, these like Webpack, Roll, Parcel, Browserify. So basically, they do a little bit almost like the task runners, but they also have like some values already in there, just like as a framework. So yeah, there's some people who use these. I personally don't use these, and yeah, just you can do a bit of research what they do exactly, and that's it. All right, so if we go in here now deeper into CSS, you can see that CSS, you can just use these kind of methodologies like these BMM. I actually don't remember what's this one. Let me just CSS BMM. Block elements. Yeah, so this is just a bit similar. This is just a little bit similar to what we were using with SAS and something. So you can have a look on this one. And then we have dive deep into CSS3. We have Flexbox, Rotate, Scale, Gradients, Grids, basically all the new things. And yeah, I mean, there is so much things that you can go deeper and deeper, and you don't need to know all of these things, because me, for example, I don't use any of these methodologies from CSS. I don't even know exactly what they are, but it doesn't mean that I don't know what is CSS 3 or how it works, It's just like, it goes into really a deep level if you want to become like a really professional into the front end. So yeah, I think this is quite a good roadmap for a front-end web developer. For sure, there will be a little bit more things there, and it's not everything in here. And I'm not like a completely professional in the front end, like I said, because I like to know a bit of front end and back end as well. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video, and you have a little bit more of understanding of how the front end works and what kind of paths and technologies you can take and use. And yeah, big shout out to this guy, Kamrana Matse. I think he's the owner, or if he built this this graphic, shout out to him. I don't want to steal any of his content or anything. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends that they are starting to learn web development, and if they want to know a little bit more about what they can learn or what kind of path they should take, share this with them. Subscribe to the channel, like I said, if this is your first video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, guys.